Most people don't fail because they lack motivation. They don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they are still living inside the identity of who they used to be. And no amount of goal setting, habit stacking, or willpower will fix that. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to break out of that. And by the end of this video, you will understand something about yourself that most people never figure out, no matter how many self-help books they read. And I know this because I've lived it. I've seen it transform the way I show up in every area of my life. So let's get into it. So today we're going to cover 3 powerful concepts. The first one is why your brain is literally designed to keep you exactly where you are, to keep you stuck. The second one I'm going to cover is the psychological mechanism you can use to overwrite it. And the third, the piece most people skip that determines whether any of this actually sticks. So stay to the end because the third one is the part that changed everything for me. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. The way you see yourself right now, well, it's not the truth. It's not who you truly are. It's a story that you've been telling yourself, keep telling yourself, a story built from your past experiences, your past conditioning, the things you've repeated to yourself so many times that your brain accepted them as fact. Because here's how your brain actually works. It doesn't know who you are. And I know that sounds strange, but it doesn't. It builds a version of you based on what you've done and said to yourself repeatedly. So if you've spent years doubting yourself, your brain files you as someone who doubts. If you've played small, your brain files you as a small player. If you've held back, your brain files you as someone who holds back. And then it locks that in and defends it, even when that identity is the very thing costing you your future. Because your brain's number one job is not growth. It's consistency. Because predictable feels safe. Safe feels like survival. And your brain will always choose survival over growth. And this is called identity locking. And this is where most people get completely stuck. They try to change their life without changing how they see themselves. But they still identify as the old version of themselves underneath. And so they hesitate, they stay stuck, they overthink, they pull back. And their brain goes, see, I told you so, this is who you are. And the loop repeats itself. So now that you know why you're stuck, let me show you the exact mechanism that breaks the loop. There's a psychological principle behind all of this. It's called self-perception theory. And it says something most people never consider. And that is that you don't act based on who you believe you are. You believe who you are based on how you act. Let that land. Your identity is not fixed. It is observed. Which means if you change your actions, you change what your brain believes about you. And this is exactly what I had to do. There was a time in my life where I didn't see myself as confident at all. I didn't see myself as someone who could get ahead or succeed in life. I looked at other people doing well and thought, they are so lucky. But that's just not me. And that one belief controlled everything. The way I showed up, the way I spoke, the risks I avoided. And nothing changed. Until I stopped waiting to feel like a different person and started acting like one. Before I had confidence, I acted confident. Before I believed in myself, I acted like someone who did. Before I had proof, I moved as if I already was that person. And at first, my brain fought it. It was hard, very hard. And this is because of something called cognitive dissonance. Because your brain hates inconsistency. So when your identity says, I'm not confident, but your actions say, I'm showing up anyway, your brain has 2 choices. The one, reject the action, or number 2, update the identity. And if you keep showing up long enough, it has no other choice but to update. But action alone isn't enough. There's a second layer to this, and it's one that most people completely overlook. Your brain can't tell the difference between a real experience or a vividly imagined one. A lot of people already know this. Studies have shown that when people visualize performing an action, the same neural pathways activate as if they were actually doing it. Which means you can begin installing a new self-image before your reality actually catches up. And this is so important because there is a time lag before your external world begins to change as it reflects the inner world that you're starting to change. So you can literally rehearse the version of you that you want to become. And here's what I did. Every day I would imagine how I would walk into a room, how I would speak under pressure, how I would handle rejection, how I would carry myself when no one is watching. And I didn't just see it. I felt it. Because emotion is the lock. Repetition is the key. And over time, my brain stopped treating it as imagination and it started storing it as memory. And once something becomes memory, your brain uses it as a reference point for who you are. Your brain predicts your future based on your past. So give it a new past. Give it new past experiences through action and visualization, and you change what it expects of you. Now here's the third piece, and this is the one I promised would be the most important, and that's the language of identity. You know, every single word you use to describe yourself is a vote for who you are. Most people say things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not confident, I've always been this way, I'm not just that type of person. And they don't realize that every time they say I am or I'm, they are defining themselves, they are locking it in. So I changed my language completely. Instead of I'm not confident, I said I am becoming more confident every day. Instead of I'm bad at this, or I'm not good enough, I said I'm learning, I'm winning. Instead of saying I've always been this way, I say I used to be that way. And I know it sounds small and trivial, but it's not small, because now you're not stuck, you're in motion. And your brain picks that up, and it starts updating the file that it has on you in your subconscious mind. But here's what it really comes down to. You cannot consistently act against the way you see yourself. So if you don't change that, nothing changes long term. The real work is this. Decide who you're becoming before you have proof. Act in alignment with that, especially when it feels uncomfortable, and it will. Visualize it until it feels familiar. Speak it until it becomes natural, and repeat it. Because identity is built through repetition, not just intention. And over time, something shifts. You stop trying to be that person. You start realizing you already are. And that's when your life changes. Not because your circumstances suddenly shift, but because you do. So let me leave you with this. If nothing in your life changes, who do you keep becoming? If you change the way you see yourself, then what becomes possible? Because you're not stuck because of your situation. You're stuck because of how you see yourself. And the moment you change that, everything else starts to follow. So if you're serious about becoming a new version of yourself, just don't watch this video, apply it. Do one thing today, one thing that your old version of you wouldn't necessarily do. And if you want to go deeper, like and subscribe to this channel. I've got plenty more videos out there. And if you feel stuck in your life and you're not sure why, here's one right here. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please comment if you've got any questions you'd like to ask, or contact me. Peace out. See you in the next video.